going to be no blue tsunami. Nothing to worry about. Remember that?
Yeah.
Hey, the economy's doing good. Nothing to worry about. Remember that?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. A blue tsunami was not by accident. The blue tsunami was organized and intentional. From my standpoint, it was imperfect, but they were able to do it, and they were trained how to do it. So what we're going to do this afternoon is, we're going to be taking a look at two things. Ballot harvesting, and in particular, church ballot harvesting. And the reason we're going to do church ballot harvesting is because of this. And guys, you guys can come in a little bit more. There's places to kind of stand around here in this area if you can. Anybody wants to sit on the floor, they can. So yes, you can tape this. I'll get in trouble, but you can tape this. So listen to this. Church ballot harvesting has the chance of transforming our culture and politics like nothing else. And all the other things may be good, and all these other things may be important, but there's probably no other way that we're going to be able to take back those lost seats, be able to have a victory for incumbents to keep their seats, and for people running against them. In fact, even in Democratic areas, to be able to win. California can shock people, and we have to shock people. And I'm going to show you how church ballot harvesting can do it. I'm going to show you the new integrated multi-channel marketing activity that the Democrats use, that the left uses. Because here's the thing, too many Republicans, too many Republican consultants, too many people are like 10 years, 12 years behind. They don't know what to do, and yet the left is doing it. They don't know what to do, but the Democrats are doing it, and they're wiping us out. How many of you, I had to go out to my car twice. How many of you have been outside in the heat? How would you describe that heat? Horrible. Hell. You think that is hot out there? Wait till you see what could happen with hell if the Democrats win in 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
We have an opportunity, but we have to be purposeful, and we have to do it right. And every one of you, you may not be able to be tech savvy, but you need to know what to do. You need to be able, if you're a candidate, to know what to do. And all of you can do something in what I'm going to talk about. Now, let's go through this. And before we do, I want you to do one thing. And the reason I'm having you do this, I'm going to show you something that all of you can use that is amazing. It's part of the presentation. So get out your cell phones. Get out your cell phones. Go to your settings. Get out your cell phones and go to your settings. Take a look at your settings and look for Wi-Fi. What do you see?
I see Craig Huey.
You see Craig Huey. How many of you see Craig Huey or California GOP? Click that. Just click that. You've got to see how this works. So just click that, and I'll explain it a little bit later. You got it now? Okay. Wi-Fi, look at your settings, and under Wi-Fi, it'll say California GOP, or it'll say Craig Huey, or a few other. Click any of those, okay? And then I'll explain to you about it. So we're going to be talking about how to use different marketing tools that the Democrats use and apply it to ballot harvesting. Because ballot harvesting transforms everything. Just very quickly, we had this incredible blue tsunami. And here's the thing, unlike past elections, where a few people at the top were affected by what was going on, it went down to city council level. It went from city council, Republicans lost, conservatives lost, Christians lost, down to the very bottom. And Peter, is there a little bit more room for a few more people to come up? If you want to come up a little bit further, you can. So, what happened and how did this take place? So, first of all, the politics was transformed. 2008, Obama started firing all the Democrat consultants. And he hired all these people that were from Microsoft and Apple and Google and Facebook who thought outside the box and did things completely different. In 2011, 2012, I did this crazy run for Congress. How many people remember that? Thank you. That was an amazing campaign. We almost won. But what we didn't know is that Obama brought in an incredible, the LA Times the day after talked about how Obama used this formula. Money, data, targeted advanced marketing, and organized GOTV. He made 470,000 15, 20-minute calls into the district. 1,500 volunteers from all over the U.S. that were organized to bring in volunteers in the area. It was a wipeout. We lost by a couple of thousand votes. And why? They knew the polling. They knew who believed in what. They divided the persuadables from the supporters, from the opponents, and knew was their top issue. Pro-life was their top issue. Oops. Oh, okay. Whew. Top issue, guns was the top. They knew what they were. How in the world did they know? Because they were able to profile and build databases to be able to do the election. Then we had the ballot harvesting that happened in 2018. I was on Maria's show just maybe a month ago. And on Maria's show, I explained about the ballot harvesting. I explained how it doesn't matter if you have a better candidate or not. It doesn't matter if you have more money or not. It doesn't matter about if you got a better tagline. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It's he who mobilizes and gets the people to the poll is the winner. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It's he who gets the person to the poll who wins. And you can't get people to the poll to find out who's going to win until you know who these people are, where they stand on the issues, and how to have that transformation take place. All right, Trump. Trump was amazing. $1.4 billion versus $957. By all intents and purposes, he should have lost. But see, he out-marketed Hillary. Hillary had all the top people from Obama's team who were doing things like they did in 2012. And Trump hired Brad Pascal, who's going to be a speaker here, who did things amazing with the best and out-marketed and out-targeted Hillary. But then we had 2017 to 2018. We had the organized advanced assault on our everything. And that's one of the reasons I wrote this book, The Deep State. And so if you haven't gotten it yet, I'd be glad to sign it. But this talks about all that's gone on with the Obama army in there, in the government. And all over America, you saw this resistance, these coffees, these organizations. It was all part of this thing called Indivisible. And I'm going to pass out a sheet for you to sign up. Now, I'm going to send you a copy of Indivisible if you don't already have it. It is the Bible the left uses to tell them what to say and how to say it and what to do to be able to organize like they did. It gives everything away. It's amazing. And yet, most people who are on the right have not seen it. So I'll send you a copy of this. I'm going to send you a few other things as well. But they have this money, data, targeted advanced marketing, organized. So they got together all these different groups. Crazy groups, liberal groups, leftist groups. And they trained them in how to do the ballot harvesting. And we are not trained. They had their test run in 2018. They saw the bugs, they saw the problems, but they were able to do it. And they got together these groups, trained them. One of the key people was Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer you may know that he has a 6.2 million people who signed this petition. Why did they sign this petition? To get the data, to get the information. He found out that over half those people who signed the petition were not registered to vote. And he found out then how to register. He was able to get 75% of the 6.2 million to vote in 2018. I'm going to talk about getting petitions because that's one of the #1 ways of being able to market. So, 75% voted. Over 250,000 people were registered in 11 states and 40 key districts that he identified. And he had over 100 staff members, 15,000 volunteers, and 400 targeted colleges. And he used that formula. His group called Next Gen is another one. His total spend was $3.8 million. He had a total staff on the ground of 68, total volunteers 920, total campuses on the program 20. He had people do pledge cards. We don't have time to talk about this, but do you know the Democrats always get people to pledge? Republicans send people out, hi, are you, my candidate's the best. Are you going to vote for him? They go, I know you're really concerned about education. I see that you're upset because there's not enough funding. My candidate will help you. Will you vote for him? You will? I want you to sign this pledge. And when they sign the pledge, what happens? They're more likely to go out and vote. And then what happens? They go, well, the election's tomorrow. Do you need a ride? And they say, no. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Tomorrow, after the election, I'm going to call you and see how it went. Thanks for pledging. You see, they're purposeful, they're trained, they're able to know what the people's key positions are. So he was able to get 490,000 digital ads to his targeted group. He knew what they're polling, he had the issues, what their key issues is, environment, whatever it might be. 83,000 knocks on the door, 689,000 texts, 1.6 million direct mail pieces. The select colleges had 10 times the number of people registered and voting than 2014. And that was in the June primary. I haven't been able to get the figures for November, but double that. Then they had Uniting California. This is the primary. 1,700 volunteer army, 580,000 doors knocked, 190,000 calls, 350,000 people reached. Why were they reached? This person's interested in education. This person's interested in the environment. They profiled who they were. And then they were able to do the ballot harvesting. They had a 10% increase because of the ballot harvesting in their districts. How do you get a 10% increase in any type of GOTV? You can't unless you're purposeful. And I'm going to show you some of the techniques that they use to do this. So, they had data strategy, database building, targeted direct mail, volunteers and paid workers, registered voters, advanced by mail strategy, and ballot harvesting. So with ballot harvesting, 18 states have outlawed it. It still happens. If you don't like ballot harvesting, I agree with you. But it's legal. You deal with it, and we have to do it better than the Democrats, right?
Yes.
So, 27 states, it's legal with restrictions. Is it voter fraud? No. It can lead to voter fraud, but it's not voter fraud. 6 to 10% more increase. And it's not new. Other states, it's not just here in California. We lost Arizona because of ballot harvesting. We almost lost Ted Cruz because of ballot harvesting. We lost so many different races because of ballot harvesting. Oh. All right. How many have seen Lulu? So I'm going to send you, you sign that sheet, I'm going to send you Lulu so you can send it off to other people. I'm also going to send you a video on these mailing slates. Lulu is one of the army of ballot harvesters. They would have a ballot harvester come out and collect 5, 50, 100, 200, 500 ballots. Take it to the voter register. And nobody knows who those people are. They vanished. There's not an audit trail. And this is what she did. She kept knocking. There'd be some Republican households, and she didn't want to talk to them. She didn't want to talk to the parents. She wanted to talk to the kid who said that they're really concerned about the environment, and she marked it down. And so she wants to talk to Randy, and she wants to get the ballot from Randy and make sure he signed the back. And then she'll take it in for Randy. Here we go. Let's see. We may not have volume. If we don't have volume, I'll just do it. Okay, I'm sending you the video. So she's asking for Randy, and the parents aren't opening the door. But here's what she's saying. If you need help filling out the ballot, I'll help you. Now, I have Republicans saying, oh, I would never hand my ballot to anybody. Well, yeah, because you're a Republican and you're probably over 40. You ask a millennial, fill out the ballot, I'll help you do it. Here, take it in for me. Right? They don't care. But also, I can get somebody who's over 40 who is an evangelical Christian. And if the pastor says, I'll take the ballots in for you, they'll give it to the pastor. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's see if I can move this. So, money, data, targeted advanced marketing, organized GOTV, a group called Swing Left. Last weekend, I'm suggesting we have church ballot harvesting Sunday,
Yes.
the weekend before. And we have church ballot week, the whole week before. And they had Swing Left last weekend, 1 million hours of work, downslate emphasis. They had the voter guide. You don't know who to vote for judge or for city council? Here's who to vote. That's why conservatives and Republicans who should have won in any other election lost, because they had a voter guide.
What is granny farming?
Grammy farming, we should be doing Grammy farming. They go to a retirement home and say, would you like to vote? I'll bring in the ballot for you. You know, you get 500 people in a retirement home. Why not? The Democrats do it. Why don't we? My aunt's a Republican. Is she going to vote? No. She's in a wheelchair. She can't do much. Does she know who to vote for? No. But a voter guide would help. So Orange County alone, 3.2 million people, 250,000 votes were harvested. That's what happened to the election. So, I'm not sure why this isn't clicking right, but here we go. So you can see we were up on election day, but after election day, we were wiped out. All the way down to city council. So turning this around, well, first of all, I'll be glad to write this. I'm going to go through church ballot harvesting, and I'll be glad to sign the books. I'm going to do church ballot harvesting, but with church ballot harvesting, if you use some of the left-wing tactics, and they're left-wing, it's what they use. I have an ad agency. I do these things for all my clients. This new book I wrote is integrated marketing, new multi-channel integrated marketing. Everything I'm talking about that the left uses is right here. Everything that, if you can't understand how it's done, is right here. So it's available. We use it for clients all the time in the business field. But you have to use this in the political field. Does that make sense? If you want this book, I'll be glad to sign it for you too. It's not a secret what I'm going to be telling you. So they use this formula, money, data, targeted advanced marketing, organized GOTV, better market than the Democrats, master the integrated multi-channel, use ballot harvesting, which means you train at the local level. How do you do these? Hey, go out and this person is a gun rights guy. You got to make sure it gives you his ballot. And you have a whole campaign for that. You have a whole campaign for somebody who's really tired of the crime that's going on, really tired of the homelessness. You talk about these issues and you find these people to get them to vote. And you use church ballot harvesting to transform the culture and politics. So the two, solution, build a database for ballot harvesting. You can do that in your local area. You can do that in your city. You can do that in your school district. You can do that in assembly, state senate, Congress. It's local. The left is local. They think local. You know, Republicans, in the days, some of you were around, in the days of Barry Goldwater, it was local. Small groups got together all the time, showing movies on these old movie machines, mimeographing off things. And it was local meetings. And that's what the left does. Petitions. What petitions? They gather data on what people care the most about. And they do petitions all the time. And with the petitions, it could be on crime, because there's a crime spike, schools, housing, homeless. We did a lot. We got over 50,000 people with Ban the Bible that was in Sacramento. Coffee meetings, digital. They do digital marketing for very low cost in a small area. You can do digital polling and petitions and gather the data on key issues. And then you follow it up. I'll show you how that's done with one candidate shortly. So you build a database. For example, Phil Livatore. Brad Dacus, good to see you.
Good to be here.
What happened to Phil Livatore?
He joined the race late in the game, was way down in the polls. He contacted you, and you guys did an incredible network marketing like I'd never seen before. And he almost made it into the top two.
He was running against people who had $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million. He was supposed to come in last.
Yeah.
You may not like him, but here's a guy outside the district with no name recognition and doing nothing, and he almost wins. And he spent less than $50,000.
Yeah.
So he had a petition. We took this petition and got over 10,000 people. He calls me up, Craig, I need your help. I said, Phil, how much money you have? Oh, Phil, I can't help you. Craig, you're going to help me. But Phil, it's only a month and a half away before the election. You should have called me 6 months ago. Craig, you got to help me. I said, okay, Phil, you're a friend. I'll help you out. We did the petition on Ban the Bible. We gathered 10,000, almost 11,000 people who were in his congressional district who were concerned about that issue and tied it to a GOTV to get them to the poll. Is that hard? No. And we did Facebook, and then we did geofencing. I'll tell you what, how many know what geofencing is? The left does it, why aren't you doing it? Geofencing you have to do for churches. All right? So, we tied it to a GOTV. And it was unbelievable what happened with them.
Are you guys talking about it?
I'll tell you in a minute. Community ballot. Peter, how much time do I have?
You have, we got, was it 35 minutes?
Community ballot harvesting. Vote by mail strategy. Organizations. VFW, American Legion, Christian schools, retirement nursing homes, gun clubs, family and friends. You can be purposeful and think, how do I gather a group of 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 500 people who can give me the ballot? Develop that, because it's small. You know how few people vote in a primary? Even in the general election? How close it can be if you do this type of incremental increase? So we can do community ballot harvesting. And then we have the sleeping giant. The sleeping giant is the church. Now, many of you may be atheists, you may be Jewish, you may be Hindu, whatever. The evangelical born-again Christians are the ones that could turn this state around. You think the state has no hope? It has hope with born-again evangelical Christians.
Yes.
Trump proved it in 2016 because they aren't on the radar. When you do polling, they're low-propensity voters. But pastors organized churches in those key states that he won, that people came out because of the church vote that had never come out before. So what happened in 2016 proved that a candidate doesn't have to match dollars or outspend their efforts.
There.
Doesn't have to rely on TV commercials, doesn't have to compromise or water down positions to the middle. Evangelicals, whoa. To win an election, integrated marketing works. I'm going to tell you about that. Digital ads for the ground game is critical, targeted and data. Principle and conviction win over political positioning, and you reach the evangelicals.
Yes.
So, how many evangelicals voted for President Trump? 81%. That was more than any other candidate ever had. Any other Republican. Bush didn't have it. Reagan didn't have it. None of them had it. 81%. If I register people in a church and 81% of those people would 81% of the people you register at Walmart vote Republican? No. But they will in the evangelical church.
Make it 90%.
So, the sleeping giant. I want everybody to stand. If you've been to one of my election forums, you know what I'm going to do. Everybody stand. Those who are standing, I don't know what to say. All right, look around. Now pretend this is the born-again evangelical Christians in your community. These are all the evangelical Christians. They go to churches that may have 100 people. They go to churches that may have 1,000. They may have 10,000 people. They may have 20,000, okay? They believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for their sins, rose from the dead, and people ask Him in their heart, and they're transformed by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
That is basically what a born-again Christian will believe.
Amen.
Now, with that in mind, I want this row to sit down, this row to sit down, this row to sit down, this row to sit down. All those who just sat down are the evangelical born-again Christians who are not registered to vote in any church. It can be a Calvary Chapel, a Baptist church, any type of evangelical church. Even if the pastor's politically active, they're not registered to vote. That's number one. Number two, you sit down. This row sits down. This row sits down. This row sits down. And that row sits down. You guys stand. These are the born-again evangelical Christians who are registered to vote but did not vote in 2018. We're talking about millions. Now, see these people standing? See these people standing? They're the born-again evangelical Christians who voted. Give them a hand.
For Trump. Retired.
You guys can sit down. 60 million evangelicals in the U.S. 35 to 45% are not registered. 45 to 55% are not voting. 74% did not vote in the 2018 election. In California, the evangelicals who voted out of the total voting bloc used to be 28%. There were 14% in 2018.
Terrible.
7.2 million Christians, evangelical Christians, live in California. 6.7 million did not vote. Can we take that back to California if we got half of those? We can. Now, so the church ballot harvesting, born-again Christians, I'll send this to you. There's a difference between born-again and evangelical, but by 7 points. Every evangelical believes what a born-again Christian believes, plus 7 key issues. And those are the churches we're going to talk about, the church ballot harvesting, because it's most likely. With 81%, Why? Why? Because there's non-negotiables. You see, the evangelical Christians may not like some of what Trump says. The evangelical Christians may not be really understanding totally free market economics or really all into gun control or gun protection. They may be, they may not be. They're all over the place. But what they are, they want to protect the assault on religious liberty. They want to make sure Israel is defended. They are pro-life. The Supreme Court is huge to them with religious freedom, and they want to protect the persecuted church. I'm going to send you what Trump and Pence and Pompeo are doing on the persecuted church in that which I'm going to send you. We have one of the defenders of individual rights and civil liberties here, Brad Dacus of the Pacific Justice Institute.
Hi, Brad.
And Brad, we're really short on time. Can you give me like 2 cases or several cases of what they can understand why Christians are upset about what's going on?
You know, we have hot cases that can really motivate a lot of people. We have Pacific Justice have over 40 cases in active litigation right now, 5 offices in California alone. Real quick, let me just go through them real quickly. We have churches in San Rafael, California, were issued a property tax, churches and synagogues. We got it halted, filed a lawsuit, it was declared unconstitutional. I think the city's going to be appealing it. We also have a Christian boarding school. It's going to be shut down outside of Reading. We're the largest, most respected by the Department of Social Services. Why? Because they're not registered with the Department of Social Services, instead they're with the Department of Education. But if they get registered with the Department of Social Services, then they have to let the boys and girls have total sexual freedom with the same sex, opposite sex, and we're litigating to keep their doors open as I speak. A Border Patrol, Southern California as we speak, not that far from here, an agent, a female agent, a man who's an agent comes into their locker room, the woman's locker room, and says, I'm going to shower here, I consider myself a woman, and I keep the shower curtain open whether you like it or not, end quote. We have filed a lawsuit to challenge this as a violation of privacy, and no one should ever be visually violated as a condition to work for the United States government. We have a lot of big pro-life for the Supreme Court. We took on the state of California. The bottom line is we have there's a lot of hot cases. A 16-year-old taken by social workers from a family, CPS. Why? Because the mother was not willing to allow her child to change their gender and become a boy. Yeah. And because of that, they took their daughter from her, even though the daughter wanted to be with the mother. It's so extreme that we take these cases, we get them out, we can make a real difference. I'm guest speaking, guest preaching at a lot of churches without charge, no love offering. That's why I get invited. Anyway. But if you ever want me to come to yours, contact my office. I'd love to do that. I'm expository. So I'd love to do that. But most importantly, we're here to help you and get out the information on our website. We have great resources. I'm not going to take any more time because what you're saying is too important. We're here to serve you, and please fill out that sign-up sheet.
When you fill out that sign-up sheet, I'm going to send you the information about these cases and about Brad and his organization. But see, Christians are upset because they're seeing they're being marginalized, they're put down, they're deplorables. They see this war on Christianity. In fact, I have a whole chapter in the Deep State book on the war of Christianity. Even under Trump, the Obama holdovers are still at war on Christianity. They have stopped baptisms at public parks. They've stopped helping churches who have been involved in disaster relief, all kinds of weird stuff. So I'm going to, that's why these non-negotiables are so important to the evangelicals. Like this judge said, this is the price of citizenship. Christians must compromise, if only a little, to accommodate the contrasting values of others. But here's the good thing. There was a thing, we don't have time to get into it, called the Johnson Amendment that silenced pastors and silenced the church since 1954. Lots of pastors think it's still law. It's not. Trump suspended the Johnson Amendment so pastors can make endorsements and recommendations to the pulpit. Free speech is now available to pastors. Free speech. And Brad Dacus will be glad to talk to any pastor about that issue with you. So, church ballot harvesting. Get 15 to 20 churches, win the election. Get that? 15 to 20 churches, you'll win the election. The pastors, salt and light groups. One person in church can stir things up, change our entire state, change your
Amen.
local area. 80, we can register. The best thing of registering is a pastor on board saying, everybody who's not registered, hold up your hand. I'm going to give you a registration form right now. And all of a sudden, in a church of 500, you got 200 registration forms. I did this at Calvary Chapel, Montebello, Hispanic church. It was amazing because these people were riled up. How many people, Brad? 5,000 people?
It's huge. Huge.
5,000 people signing petitions, everything.
Yeah.
And I don't believe one lawn sign is going to make you win an election. It makes you feel good. But lawn sign. But you put out lawn signs at a church after somebody's spoken, they're all gone because they put them out. Vote by mail ballots. When they arrive, vote ballots Harvest Week. Vote ballot Harvest Sunday. The key is the pastor will deliver the ballot for them. And a voter guide. We have had a voter guide for over 20 years. Some of you have used it. From Northern California to San Diego, from city council all the way up. You can have that customized for any assembly, Congress, district, county, digital marketing support. And I'll explain all that shortly. Well, you know, maybe the solution is for me to do this manually, the old-fashioned way.
If we're still getting your emails already, do we have to sign that one now?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, yes. If you're going to get the
Oh, okay.
stuff,
I have-
yeah. It doesn't matter if you're on my list or not. Solution: 12 integrated strategies. So let me tell you this. Geofencing I talked about. So here's what geofencing is. We identified 74 churches that were in that congressional district. I said, these are the evangelical born-again Christians. And we went back for 6 months to anybody was at that church on a Sunday. And we pulled out their mobile ID. So we went back 6 months. Then I also went to a thing called the Great Glory Harvest Crusade and to Franklin Graham's Pasadena Crusade.
Amen.
And pulled out all the people in that congressional district and got their cell mobile IDs. And then I started sending them on Facebook and Google and some other things, videos. One was a video of Brad. And thank you. 94,000 people from those 74 churches. Why did he almost win the election? Because all of a sudden, Mr. Unknown had these loyal people not only signing a petition, but starting to volunteer and knowing who he is. So we had 100,000 people go to his landing page, which was our petition on banning the Bible, banning the Bible. We had 942,000 impressions, 280,000 video views. 280,000 video views from geofencing and GeoTV. And all that for around $50,000. Now, here's the sad news. I don't know any Republican or conservative that's using geofencing, but I can tell you the Democrats are using it, and we're using it for business. Why aren't we using it on the churches for church ballot harvesting? 2, a thing called transactional data modeling, TDM. This is something where more conservatives and Republicans are using it. We can take a database and give you a 95% predictability that that's the same type of person. So you want to identify an evangelical Christian in your district. You want to identify a gun owner in your district, somebody who's, some type of activist on an issue. We can identify them with that type of data modeling. And then you can send them direct mail. You can send them email. You can send them any type of stuff. Let's see if this works. Then, Facebook, YouTube. Now, here's very important. My book outlines this. What is a custom list? Do you know why the left is able to get corporations to buckle and give them money and advertising? Or you know how they do that? Do you know how a city council or a school board or any of these groups, they buckle? If you're on city council, you're on school board,
City
city
council.
council. If all of a sudden you got 1,000 phone calls and emails, you're gonna freak out. What's going on? They know how to be able to take a custom list. They can take his name and all the people on the city council and on his Facebook, in his Google, on his YouTube, on his Twitter, on all these different things, have anybody in that district or outside that district contact him, and it's like he's overwhelmed. A custom list is I can take anybody who I know because I did a petition as opposed to ban the Bible and give them a series of Facebook ads or anything else. It's the most powerful marketing tool to be able to target your audience and not waste it on anybody else. Look-alike. This is where you're able to duplicate the type of person in a congressional district or assembly district that's just like the person you're trying to look for. It's called a look-alike audience. So I go into that in a whole chapter on the custom list, a whole chapter on look-alike affinity. I just did a C.S. Lewis play where I had 2,000 people come see the C.S. Lewis play. And they paid an average of $80. And you know why? Because we did a custom list, a look-alike list, and an affinity list. I took anybody who on their Facebook liked Bel Air Presbyterian Church and Reality LA and C.S. Lewis and Greg Laurie and anybody who lived in the Santa Monica area that had them on their Facebook, targeted them. And we're able to do that type of marketing. You can do that for your candidates. You can do that for any issue. Pre-roll. Get a custom or look-alike. You ever go on YouTube and you saw a commercial before the video? That's a pre-roll. You can do pre-rolls in your congressional district. And programmable TV. Have you ever been watching TV and say, how do they know I like that?
Oh, yeah.
Because I can give them a list. Like if I do the transactional data modeling, I can give them that list, and only the people on that list, I give them 50,000 people, only those 50,000 people see the TV commercial. Is that awesome? The left does it. The Democrats, every Democrat who's running for Congress is doing that now. Why aren't we? Direct mail retargeting. Somebody comes to your landing page, I can send them a direct mail piece as soon as they've been on the landing page. That's called direct mail retargeting. Digital retargeting. You ever go on Google or Facebook and then all of a sudden you saw an ad for face cream that follows you around the internet? Texting. Most powerful marketing tool out there is texting. That 95% of the people are going to look at their text. 5% of the people, 10% of the people are going to look at their email. Texting is something that Democrats do. And I have a whole chapter on that in the book. Conversion series, you get a list and you send them a series of things. And then mobile optimization. 70% of the people are not using the desktop, they're using the mobile. Everything has to be mobile optimized. And then the Christian database optimization. You want to do church ballot harvesting? We have a list of every evangelical, not every, but most evangelical born-again Christians in your district. Why not send them email, Facebook? Why not send them Google ads? Why not target them? And then, I had you sign up on this. So, this is how, this is called Event Mobilization and Data Builder. Now this has been tried, and this is something I highly recommend that you think about using. And basically, every one of you, when you put in your, you went to your settings, did you see GOP? Did you see Craig Huey? Did you see the deep state? I put that there. Because it's a little device you can carry around and place somewhere. And so you can be at an event and tell anybody to do that. And basically what will happen, you could be speaking at a church, at a town hall, at a debate, at a fundraiser. You can send the people a text. I'm going to send you guys a text because you were here, or video. I'm going to send you something. Sell products. You can sell a product. You can show a video. They plug in just like you did, and you can show them a video right away. Poll. You want to do polling and survey, identifying, you can do that. Receive donations, get donations from this. Two major advantages. You can interact with live crowds with this, and you can access the data later. Anybody who did that, like I said, I'm going to send you in about an hour a communication. Is that freaky? Yeah, but it's legal. And you've got to be able to master this. Now, quite frankly, if you want to play mischief, you could actually use it like Joe Biden could sneak one of those devices into Bernie Sanders' rally, and everything comes up with video about how Bernie is a crazy man. And people don't know why. Because they got on and they saw that Bernie Sanders on there, and they clicked on it, and they got on that and thought it was the Wi-Fi, and it was Joe Biden. But here's the thing. You can be at any event. And you know, I mentioned texting is one of the most important things. What did Trump do better than Hillary in 2016? Texting. He did more texting, better texting, thanks to Brad Pascal. He had a better system. When you saw Trump, what did he have in front of him everywhere? Text this number. Because he was building his database of supporters. And then he found the volunteers, and then he found the donors, and then he found the voters. That's why you got to do the texting. It's a database builder. Does that make sense? So this event mobilization database, I can be glad to tell you about it, how it can be used, but any candidate should be using this to be able to get donations, to be able to collect data, to be able to interact with the people live who are out there. Now see, this page, this page shows a donation, instant $25 text donation, and gives the card. And what's great about this, if you notice when you signed in, it populated your name, because it just took the information from your cell phone. And if you do a donation, it'll populate it with the credit card and everything else. It's so simple. It's the fastest, simplest way to get a donation. Here's opinion. You can put down your opinion on different issues. You can have them get a voter guide right away. You're at a church, hey, get your voter guide right here. You know, take a look, here it is. And they got the voter guide right on their phone, so they can go down to their ballot and just go straight down. You can give them a voter registration form. You're not registered? Look at your cell phone. Here's the form. Sign it now. You can have an election form video. The pastor's personal endorsement.
I'm just trying. You got 2 minutes?
All right. So, 12 minutes. Okay. So here's where selling things, opinion, what do you want to do? You can do all that stuff. Okay, church mobilization. Now, you can hold an election forum at your event, at any church in your area. Somebody at the local church, some other organization, we can help you know how to do that with the election forum. My wife and I spoke at 30 churches with an average of 500 or 600 people. I don't know, 500, 600 people. How many thousands of people is that? Whatever that is, I mean, you can speak at these churches. You don't need many in your district. You can have meet and greets, candidate introduction speeches at a church. A candidate can be there. And what happens, what's the worst thing a candidate does? They don't collect their text numbers, they don't or cell phone numbers, they don't collect the data. If you're going to have a candidate speaking at a church, Here's my petition to stop banning the Bible and get the people in the church to sign it. So you've got their data. You apply it to GOTV. So Brad has created a letter format so that the pastor can personally endorse to the church list a candidate, or personally tell them to go to the election forum website to see how to vote their values. Assistant pastors have lists, groups have lists, signs, volunteers, event mobilization and data builder at the church, church bulletins, and geofencing at targeted churches. All these are part of church mobilization. And then there's the voter guide. So our voter guide, electionforum.org, is the one for Christians. This is for the faith community. 20% are conservative Catholic, the rest are evangelical and born-again Christians. We had 800,000 people come to the site this last election, but we needed 2 million, we needed 3 million. CraigHuey.com is the secular one. All California, City Council, the President, and this year we are actually doing Spanish. Let me grab something. We have the entire voter guide website right now is in Spanish. I spoke to about 2,000 Hispanic pastors. Most of them, they only speak Spanish in services. These guys are on board for the non-negotiables. These are natural Republican supporters. And they want to be part of transforming California. And they have an army of people that you can have working in GOTV. So we have it in Spanish. We also have this. This is the voter guide. That's a hard copy. The most effective one is the online copy, but we got the hard copy. And with the hard copy, we have it in Spanish. And it tells you exactly how to vote for all the different issues. Now, so a website mobile optimized church version. You can have a church version of these voter guides. You can have a handout, and the pastor is key. I hear an amen on that, Brad?
Amen.
Amen.